Good morning. Welcome to Orange Coast Unitarian Universalist Church on Zoom. We respectfully recognize that our church property rests on a Hashimen and Tongva land. My name is Steve Morihiro, and I am your worship associate today. I'm pleased to be joined this morning by the Reverend Judy Tomlinson, our Director of Religious Education, who is leading our worship service, the Fire Communion service this morning. Beth Syverson, our Director of Music Ministries, is off this morning on a very well-earned break, but her spirit is with us in some of the recordings that you'll hear in the service. Other music this morning is led by Brian Shaw, Liza Shaw, Susan Shaw, and other members of our wonderful OCUUC choir. In addition, we have a song performed by musical guest Jim Scott. And we also have members who have recorded readings for our service this morning. For the fire ceremony later in the service, you will all need a few items. You will need 2 small strips of paper, a candle, and a match to light it, and a safe place to burn your small strips of paper. Maybe a cooking pot or a tray with some sand. And have some water nearby as a safety precaution. Our minister, the Reverend Sean Wilshire, is off today, but she has a message for you.
Hi, everyone. I hope you're having an absolutely fabulous day. I know you're going to have an absolutely fabulous, wonderful service. So, for those of you who may not know me, I'm Reverend Sean Wilshire, and I proudly serve this wonderful, beloved community. It really is fabulous. And that's what I encourage you to do. If you're new, you haven't quite gotten to know people, or you're just kind of coming in and lurking a little bit, that's okay. But what I really encourage you to do is get to know this community. And one of the best ways to do that is at the end of the service, we have these 20 minutes of breakout sessions to get to know people. And the nice thing is that everybody in there is in the same boat. It's random who gets put in there, so there's no real cliques going on or that sort of thing. That can happen sometimes, when we do in-person church, people get together with their friends, and that's totally cool and wonderful. But this way, you get to know new people and different people, which is just wonderful. And everybody's there. So, and this is a really friendly bunch. They are truly wonderful, loving, beautiful people, and I can't wait for you to get to know them. So I encourage you to do that. All right, without further ado, have an absolutely fabulous service.
I would like to invite you to open the chat box, and if you haven't done so already, send out a greeting to everybody. We'll be turning the chat off later in the service so as not to distract. One other note about the order of service today: since we will be doing fire ceremony this morning as part of our fire communion service, we will not be doing our usual joys and sorrows. Reverend Sean will be welcoming your joys and sorrows next week. As Unitarian Universalists, we have many different beliefs, but we are one loving community. We are bound together not by a common set of rules or beliefs, but rather a covenant. A covenant is simply a promise that whatever our beliefs, we accept one another and encourage each other in spiritual growth. We affirm that all life has inherent value and that all existence is interconnected. We strive for justice and compassion in our deeds and relationships, and we are committed to creating a welcoming community without regard to the traits that sometimes divide people. I want to extend a special welcome to visitors. If you are seeking a spiritual home, we hope that you will find it here. Shortly after the service ends, we will be placing everyone who remains into Zoom breakout rooms for 20 minutes of coffee and conversation. Everyone is welcome to participate in these breakout rooms. It's a great way to get to know other people in the congregation. Our worship begins with the lighting of our chalice, which is the symbol of the Unitarian Universalist tradition. As we light it, we say our unison affirmation. If you have a chalice or a candle at home, we can light them together. Before we light our chalice, I will read Chalice Lighting for Winter Solstice by Sharon Wiley and adapted by Reverend Judy. This New Year's season, in honor of ancient traditions that celebrate this time of long nights and coming light, we observe that the flaming chalice holds the elements of the four directions: earth, air, fire, water. The lamp oil for earth, the air that feeds the flame, the fire we light, and the chalice itself, the cup, the symbol of water. We light our chalice and reflect on the light we need to guide us through hard times. The light of our shared faith, the light of loving community, the light of love, joy, and hope. Please join me now as we say together our unison affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. To dwell together in peace, to seek truth in love, and to help one another. This we affirm together. At this time, please join Susan Shaw in singing our opening song, Dark of Winter.
Dark of winter, soft and still, your quiet calm surrounds me. Let my thoughts go where they will, ease my mind profoundly, and then my soul will sing a song, a blessed song of love eternal, gentle darkness, soft and still, bring your quiet to me. Darkness, soothe my weary eyes, that I may see more clearly. When my heart with sorrow cries, comfort and caress me, and then my soul may hear a voice, a still small voice of love eternal. Darkness, when my fears arise, let your peace flow through me.
The great miraculous bell of translucent ice is suspended in mid-air. It rings to announce endings and beginnings. It rings because there is fresh promise and wonder in the skies. Its clear tones resound in the placid silence of the winter day and echo long into the silver blue serenity of night. The bell can only be seen at the turning of the year, when the days wind down into nothing and get ready to march out again. When you hear the bell tug at your heart, it is your immortal inspiration. Today we are approaching the turning of the year. We are at an in-between time. We have gone into the dark and just begun our ascent back out. We are not yet out into the light. Time is almost standing still. Today is a day to honor this threshold time, to go deep into the not yetness. We pause at this sacred time of year to pay tribute and to give the past its due, whatever that may require. And to consciously sense the energy building for what yet might be, for the creative potential of the year ahead. As a community of memory and a community of hope, we mark this time with words and music and ceremony. And now, our guest musicians, Jim Scott and company, We'll play May Your Life Be as a Song.
And may your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, then softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. It can be around now.
May your life be as a song, resounding with
May your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, ever softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night.
a song, resounding with
May
the
your
dawn,
life be
to
as
sing
a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing awake the light, then softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night, ever dancing circles in the night, ever dancing circles in the night.
Let us join in a spirit of stillness as we contemplate the words of Mark Stringer. As the year winds down to its close, and we are submerged once again in the seasonal darkness we have come to know so well, we have reason to think back upon the year that was, if only because it will soon be gone. We think back to the friends that we have made, the sorrow we have endured, the love we have found, the loneliness we have survived. We think back to the blessings of being forgiven and for the gift we offered to ourselves when we forgave. We think back to those who listened to us in our time of need and the times we could have listened more. We think back to the things we traded our time for and to what we may have overlooked in the process. And we think back to the times when we were afraid and uncertain and we trudged ahead anyway. And the times we were compassionate when we could have been cold. In this season of stillness, may we see more clearly against the dark backdrop of our living, the true light of our lives, the love we give to others, and the peace we nurture in ourselves. Let us join in a spirit of prayer with the words of Reverend Daniel Gregoire. Spirit of the empty spaces, Spirit of new beginnings, here we are in this often difficult season of cold and night. It seems the light we need might go away forever. Help us to catch our breath so that we might not stumble into despair. Let the past be our guide, helping us into the future that we need. Just on the horizon, unlocking, opening, growing. So may it be. Let us join in singing our centering hymn, Return Again.
Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul.
Learning to Walk in the Dark by Barbara Brown Taylor. When, despite all my best efforts, the lights have gone off in my life, literally or figuratively, plunging me into the kind of darkness that turns my knees into water, nonetheless, I have not died. The monsters have not dragged me out of bed and taken me back to their lair. The witches have not turned me into a bat. Instead, I have learned things in the dark that I could have never learned in the light, things that have saved my life over and over again, so that there is really only one logical conclusion. I need darkness as much as I need light.
In celebration of the winter solstice by Stephanie Noble. Do not be afraid of the darkness. Dark is the rich, fertile earth that cradles the seed, nourishing growth. Dark is the soft night that cradles us to rest. Only in darkness can stars shine across the vastness of space. Only in darkness is the moon's dance so clear. There is mystery woven in the dark, quiet hours. There is magic in the darkness. Do not be afraid. We are born of this magic. It fills our dreams that root, unravel, and reweave themselves in the shelter of the deep, dark night. The dark has its own hue, its own resonance, its own breath. It fills our soul, not with despair, but with promise. Dark is the gestation of our deep and knowing self. Dark is the cave where we rest and renew our soul. We are born of the darkness, and each night we return to the deep, moist womb of our beginnings. Do not be afraid of the darkness, for in the depth of that very darkness comes a first glimpse of our own light, the pure inner light of love and knowing. As it glows and grows, the darkness recedes. As we shed our light, we shed our fear and revel in the wonder of all that is revealed. So do not rush the coming of the sun. Do not crave the lengthening of the day. Celebrate the darkness here and now, a time of richness, a time of joy.
Winter Solstice by Rebecca Parker. Perhaps for a moment, the keyboards will stop clicking, the wheels stop rolling, the computers desist from computing, and a hush will fall over the city. For an instant, in the stillness, the chiming of the celestial spheres will be heard as Earth hangs poised in the crystalline darkness and then gracefully tilts. Let there be a season when holiness is heard and the splendor of living is revealed, stunned to stillness by beauty. We remember who we are and why we are here. There are inexplicable mysteries. We are not alone. In the universe, there moves a wild one whose gestures alter the earth's axis toward love. In the immense darkness, everything spins with joy. The cosmos enfolds us. We are caught in a web of stars, cradled in a swaying embrace of planets, aligning in the heavens. Let this be the time we wake to life.
This is The Craft of Winter Solstice by Reverend Daniel Gregoire. I need the deep winter time and all it represents. A threshold, the closing of a chapter, the start to sunlight timidly warming our cold and frost-bitten souls. The turning of the year neatly coincides with our collective desire for a break in time, to unlock and review the past as we look to the light of the future. This time around, I'm greeting the transition with craft, using my old photographs and reframing the past with some bright artistic flourishes, courtesy of glitter glue. I am making the most of this unique astronomical time, perhaps not unlike the ancient peoples of Europe, who gathered breathlessly around bonfires and hearths for warmth to celebrate the new thing that is just on the horizon, growing light and the end of night's dominion, even in the midst of cold. The end can be a beginning too, as someone once said, and this time, ending is where we start from.
Chalice, Flame, Contemplation by Samuel A. Trumbore. In this time of long nights and short days, let us seek the light within by contemplating through our mind's eye the image of a candle flame. Notice how the soft, quiet, and gentle flame tamely rises from the wick. Yet, just by touching a dry twig, it has the power to become a raging bonfire to light up the sky. Let that little candle flame be your friend this morning. Allow it to quiet your mind as you attentively watch its flickering glow. Allow it to calm your mind in a way that brings a stillness that can light up the interior of your being, that can help you find the wellspring of your feelings. Allow it to show us our inner sense of knowing that can help us notice the ways we've strayed or harmed others. To warm us, reflecting on the ways we've been touched and the ways we've opened our hearts. And inspire us through making new connections and discovering new insights. May this simple flame touch the dry twigs that guard our hearts, allowing the power of light to penetrate our self-protection and show us the amazing potential for heat and light that resides within us.
We're leading into our fire ceremony. And so, as Steve alerted you at the beginning of this service, and I will remind you now, I invite you to get 2 small strips of paper just small ones, a candle, and a match to light it with, and then maybe a cooking pot to put your candle in so that you have a safe place to burn your 2 strips of paper. And then just have a pitcher of water close by in case something happens. So on your first small strip of paper, you will inscribe those things from which you would seek to unburden yourself. 1 slip of paper for letting go of the old. Anything from 2020 or anything from your life as a whole. So take a moment now and write on your strip of paper. And on the second strip of paper, this one represents hope for the new year. You will write your hopes for the new year on this slip. We have, through our readings, begun to think about relinquishing old hurts, our vision for the future, and opening to stillness that will allow our hearts to open to optimism. But first comes the act of faith, the letting go. I invite you to write on these 2 pieces of paper that which you would unburden yourself of and would like to put behind you. This is your paper of cleansing. And now, having unfettered yourself, you can have confidence to take a leap of faith. What is your hope for the new? What if you knew you could not fail? Where does your imagination take you? What vision comes to mind? I invite you to write on this second slip that hope that you hold in your heart. This is now your prayer. I invite you to commit your papers to your safe burning bowl and entrust them to the purifying flames. May what you have released be forever gone from your spirit and cease to trouble you. May you be relieved and renewed, ever mindful that love is always more powerful than fear, and that compassion is the key to freedom from resentment. May your hope for the new be your commitment and your prayer. May it offer guidance and direction for you as you take your first steps into the new year. And may your soul rise renewed. Let us join in singing our journeying song, Rise Up, O Flame.
Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Rise up, O flame, by thy light glowing, show to us beauty, vision, and joy. Vision and joy.
Well, it's been a year. I'm grateful to be here with you at the turning of the new year. So many others are not. And while I do have gratitude in my heart, this has been a year of grief, a year of terrible loss, a year of disruptive change. Although not all of the changes have been entirely bad, mind you. It's been a year of no hugs and minimal contact with the people we love, a year of chaos where many have lived in fear, a year where too many have experienced tremendous challenges. Some, too many, have felt the sting of cruelty. Now it is time to finally turn the page on 2020. As the year comes to a close, I have been reflecting as much as I can on the good things that have made it possible for me to make it through despite all the challenges. I've been reframing the past with appreciation. Personally, I'm grateful for meaningful work and great folks to do it with. Better health, more bike riding and walking in the neighborhood. And that has led me to becoming more familiar with the faces in my neighborhood. I invite you to think for a moment of the things that helped you through the challenges that this year has posed. And we can open the chat for just a moment if you would like to share those things with our whole congregation. As you think of the things that have helped you get through the year, I'll name a few more of my own. Spending time at home this year has led me to focus on my spiritual practices while becoming comfortable with a simpler, less hectic way of life. It's given me time to bury my face in my books, one of my favorite activities, as well as spending more time with my spouse and time to watch some really fun movies. Let's close the chat again for a moment. So all of these things have helped us manage to get through. And yet with all of that, I am fully and completely ready to say goodbye to 2020. In fact, I know some people who are planning to make an obscene gesture or two as we put 2020 in the rear view mirror. And even as many of us say our less than fond farewells to the year just past, we find ourselves in a time of transition. We're about to inaugurate a new president. We can look forward to a time when we can begin to let go of the political upheaval and all the harm it has caused, and see our way into the possibility of healing. We can also look forward to a time in the not too distant future when, with a vaccine, our lives will not be ruled by COVID-19. Our world is finally beginning to see the glimmer of another possibility. Dare we hope a time when we will be able to meet in person and hug our precious ones again. We will, I hope, enter this coming time of renewal with new levels of gratitude and appreciation for the many things that we used to take for granted. In this in-between time, let us pause to reflect on all that has been. In this time of stillness, we may feel strong feelings, ones that we held at bay during the change and chaotic eventfulness of 2020. Maybe we can take a moment during this time when our 2020 projects have been put to bed and the 2021 deadlines are not yet looming. Maybe we can take a breath and allow ourselves to acknowledge the difficulties and the challenges. Maybe we can find the space to experience some of the emotions that we have been holding back. We can be overwhelmed when we recognize that we have been holding back all of this grief for all that was lost. The time, the people, the opportunities, the missed milestones, the canceled events, the businesses that haven't made it, the joyful events that we looked forward to that never occurred. I know I've been feeling those losses a bit more as the year has wound down. One of the losses that I felt was not being able to help. Because I'm in an at-risk group, I couldn't participate or organize our youth for the Hearts and Hands Day of Service to support our homeless neighbors, or make gift bags for Stand Up for Kids, or bake cookies or deliver meals to them. Maybe we can open up the chat for just one more minute and allow our folks to share all of the things that you're feeling grief about, all of the losses that you have experienced this year. One of the other things that I felt as a loss was that I couldn't demonstrate against all the injustices that seem to be coming in wave after wave. Thank you all for sharing those deep losses with us. Even though I wasn't able to be at the demonstrations, I watched in awe and was truly inspired to see that thousands upon thousands of young people of all colors, they took leadership and then they took the streets. 2020 and COVID-19 revealed so many injustices in our society. I realized that had we not been in lockdown, many of those injustices might have remained invisible to those of us with class and white privilege. All of the disparities in healthcare, education, environmental injustices, food insecurity, housing issues, voter suppression, all made undeniably visible by this pandemic, while mercilessly devastating communities of color. And all the while, a very few extremist politicians who have control of the national levers of power have managed to hold up even a modicum of relief. I know that during this time of transition, I trust that many of you need to allow ourselves to grieve, to feel frustration and even anger. I wonder what disappointments and injustices you are grieving. And I thank you for sharing them with us. In the new year, we will need to heal, listen, and we will need to act. Because another thing that was revealed in this past year is how much we depend on people most of us hardly ever think about. The people who pick the vegetables we eat, those who process the meat on our dinner plates, those who stock our grocery shelves, and those who keep our hospitals and nursing homes clean. Many of us have discovered a newfound gratitude for these under-recognized frontline workers. May that gratitude translate into fair compensation. One morning, about a week ago, I awoke to a text from my sister in New Jersey. It was a video of her grandson, my great-nephew. After Thanksgiving, he and his entire family got COVID-19, and he lost his sense of taste. His mother had bought him some pizza, and when he couldn't taste it, this 10-year-old burst into tears. I don't know why the camera was rolling at that moment, but that simple video of my great-nephew Cooper crying was amazingly powerful. It somehow brought the grief home as nothing else had. One little boy's tears somehow made real the millions infected, the hundreds of thousands dead. In the new year, I hope for healing more than anything else. It is my fervent prayer. But we can't heal unless we can open ourselves to grief. We all need to take a moment, just a moment, because it can be, and it is, overwhelming and just too much to bear. From the smallest personal disappointments to the economic, political, and societal body blows, this year has been like no other. So let the tears of grief flow freely if they come. sobs are deeply cleansing. Over the course of the year, in my mind, possibilities had just closed down. It was as if a mild depression had set in. I realized I had lost my creativity and my energy. And then a weight that had been holding me down lifted. After the election was over and the coronavirus vaccine was announced, I felt different immediately. I quickly shifted gears from all that grief I had been holding, and a fire of hope sparked in my heart. I don't know about you, but post-election and with the vaccine announcement, I literally began singing and dancing and shouting hallelujahs. And lo, the earth is risen again, envisioning a real Easter, a real rebirth, new life. I began to think of all the possibilities for the new year. We would have the opportunity to rebuild our lives with intention. We would have time and opportunity to create something new. This quarantine time, while it has revealed deep fissures in our social structures, has also done something else. In many ways, it has given us a break from what used to be, a legitimate chance to envision the kind of society we want to build back. I, for one, don't want to go back to the way things were before, what we called normal. Do you? In the next few months, while the vaccine is being rolled out, we have an opportunity to create a new vision for our lives individually and collectively. One that puts meaning and mission and values at the center. One recent morning, I found myself wanting to go into a cave. I thought about our ancestors, for whom a cave might have been a comforting place of shelter from the elements, a place of rest. It would be dark. Just for a moment, allow your imagination to take you to such a place. Imagine you are cradled in the darkness. Let your body relax. You can feel safe here. Imagine you start a fire for some warmth and allow the heat to seep into your bones. Let the flame burn away your worries and fear. Let the grief pass through you and be lifted from you. In the firelight, you are free to watch the shadows dance on the cave walls. Let your thoughts run wild. Then, in the soft darkness, weave new dreams. Let the power of the dark and the energy of the flame fill your heart. What would you like to see in the new year? Just like we need to grieve before we can heal, we need to have vision before we can create. When the fire in the sky of a new day dawns, we are rested and rejuvenated. We can leave our cave with renewed vigor to build the foundations of our new dreams. We can have new hope, active hope. Joanna Macy made a distinction between passive and active hope. She said that passive hope is about waiting for external agencies to bring about what we desire. Active hope is about becoming active participants in what we hope for. Active hope is a practice. It's something we do rather than have. So our fire communion ritual was important. It gives us a place to start, a beginning point, but just a beginning. Now we need clarity of vision about what we want our society to become. And we must act on that vision so we can actively bring it about. So during this in-between time, I ask each of us to allow the cosmos to guide us. Imagine where and how your passion, your energy, your creativity can take us. Where can it come to life? And then get ready to welcome 2021 and let us awake together to a new and bright future. Let us commit to making it so. Now let us sing along with Beth Syverson our returning song, The Fire of Commitment.
From the light of days remembered burns a beacon bright and clear, guiding hands and hearts and spirits into faith set free from fear. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the stories of our living rings a song both brave and free, calling pilgrims still to witness to the life of liberty. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within, then our promise finds fulfillment and our future can begin. From the dreams of youthful vision comes a new prophetic voice, which demands a deeper justice built by our courageous choice. When the fire of commitment sets our mind and soul ablaze, when our hunger and our passion meet to call us on our way, when we live with deep assurance of the flame that burns within,
Unitarian Universalist congregations are fully self-supporting, meaning that members and friends raise all funds for the operating budget, ministries, and programs of the church. We are ever grateful for your gifts of time, treasure, and talent. OCUUC amplifies that spirit of generosity by sharing one half of the plate we receive with an organization that shares our values. Throughout the month of December, we have been supporting American Family Housing. Information about AFH is on the slide. Their mission statement is, AFH provides a continuum of housing and an array of services to support homeless and low-income families and adults to secure a stable home, to be an active part of their community, and to achieve a self-sustaining way of life. As we wrap up 2020, please give generously to help AFH to provide these families and adults with hope for 2021. There are 3 ways in which you can give online. The first is through our website, www.ocuuc.org. The second, through an app called Give. You can download it from the App Store for your smartphone, and once you've set it up, you can use it for any of your online giving, including your pledge. The third method is by texting, area code 714-942-1131. Simply text to that number and in the message type the amount. As always, thank you for your generosity as the offering is given and received.
Come and join the spiral, take our hands. We are sisters of a chosen clan. There's a circle here where magic flows, and we keep the fire burning. Through the night we rest assured, when shadows fall, a song will comfort. The homeland heart takes rhythm strong, shines on every tender soul. Share your laughter and your tears, and know the circle will enfold you. Listen closely to this sound. The answer's here and all around, around, around. Together we weave a tapestry of light. It holds us through our passages of life. Women's hearts unite in love and soul, and the fire we keep alive and strong. Through the night you can be sure a woman's spirit will enfold you. Listen closely to your heart, the answer's here, the answer's here. Come and join the spiral, take our hands. We are sisters of the chosen clan. There's a circle here where magic flows, and we keep the fire.
Please join in singing We Gather Together, a song that puts our intentions into words and expresses our gratitude for the many gifts we share.
We gather together, we gather as one, for peace, love, and justice for everyone. We care from our hearts to show that we care. We can change lives with what we share.
Let us join together as we extinguish the flame of our chalice and say, we extinguish our chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. We are a congregation made up of people who all believe differently, and yet When we gather together virtually or otherwise, we make up one loving community. We need not think alike to love alike. If you are a guest, a visitor, or someone who hasn't yet been known to us, I invite you to become part of this beloved community, if even just for today. We encourage you to write in the chat your name and where you are from. If you'd like to know more about our church, please see our church website for ways in which you can get involved and sign up for our weekly email called The Blast at blast@ocuuc.org. If you would like to know more about membership, please contact us at membership@ocuuc.org. And for information about programming for children and youth, please contact Rev. Judy at ocuuc.org. Our community is enriched by its visitors, guests, and friends, and we hope that you find a spiritual home here. We want everyone to feel a part of this beloved community, so please reach out and we will help you get connected. After the benediction, we will have a short period where everyone can wave and say hello. Those who remain will be placed in the Zoom breakout groups for 20 minutes. We invite you to check in and get to know the people in your group and welcome any visitors.
And now just a couple of announcements that build our community. So this afternoon, the Women's Circle Holiday Party is going to begin at noon. And if you check out the blast, you can find the details. And on January 23rd, our former intern, Rika Koffel, will be ordained over Zoom. So I'm sure we're all excited to celebrate her achievement and a major milestone that she in her life. So our benediction is from Vicki Atkinson. The next time you are tempted to think, I am only one person, what can I do? Remember that your light, joined with the light of all the others like you, and there are others like you, can set the world ablaze with light. Let us sing our departing song.
Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me. Be safe, be well, you mean the world to me.
This service is over. Let our service continue.